Well, good evening. My name is Andrew Reif, and welcome to Around South Jersey. Jim Quinn was nice enough to let me use his microphone tonight and let me sit in his chair so we could share the story of the Hope Center and our fourth birthday that we had today. It was a great honor. We had a good time. A lot of people showed up, and I just want to take a moment to just thank Jim Quinn for the honor and the privilege to be able to sit here tonight and to share the story of hope and the hope that we try to offer at the Hope Center. You know, Jim's such a important part of our town and our county. He's done so many different things and held so many different positions, and he's not only involved in what he's done in public office, but he really cares about the town and the homeless people and the needs and concerns of the people. And it's just a privilege for him to allow us to be here as the Hope Center team. So our guests tonight are Donna Stiles, Denise Arrigo, and Pastor Brian Robinson, and each has an important role in the Hope Center. And we're going to just work around the table a little bit as we go through tonight and talk about some of the different aspects of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, and share some positive stories of change that we're really trying to instill in our guests that come to the Hope Center and that we try to help. So, what really started as a couple different programs about 4 years ago, it kind of all came together, and the first church merged with another church, the old Trinity Church, and the first Trinity Hope Center was born. And since then, it's just grown and grown and grown. There's so many different things that are happening, but I think the main thing that we try to provide is just a caring, safe, loving environment that they can come and just feel comfortable and just have that little bit of time throughout their day to not only get a warm meal, but to just have that family environment that they just might not be missing, when they're home. So Donna, take a minute and just tell us about today. What happened today?
Well, today was absolutely wonderful. As Andy said, we celebrated our fourth birthday. We decided, and we've been wanting to do this for a while, so today was perfect. God blessed us with beautiful weather.
Oh, absolutely gorgeous.
And we were able to hold our entire birthday celebration outside. So it was absolutely wonderful. We had about 125 people show up today. A lot of guests, a lot of neighbors, people from the community heard the music, saw what was going on, came over just to check us out.
That's awesome.
We had vendors there with a lot of resource. Complete Care, United Advocacy Group was there. Veteran Services was there.
Right.
The County Health Department, Recovery on Wheels, Oaks Integrated Care. A lot of resources that are needed. And our guests were just able to walk around and talk to everybody.
Well, and there was one of my favorite resources that was there today. We had ice cream available for all of our guests, and it was just a nice gift, to be able to give back to the community. And they were there and provided ice cream for everybody that wanted. But, as some of the things that happen at the Hope Center, people just don't even realize. And there's so many stories and so many impacts in people's lives. I mean, do you have a favorite you could start us out with of a story that just may have just touched you or touched the person?
Absolutely. We call this guest our greatest success. When he came to us 4 years ago, when we first started, his anxiety levels were through the roof. He didn't trust anybody. He would not come inside. We made sure to greet him by name every day. We would go out and talk with him. We started giving him hugs. He would stiffen like a board and never return it.
Yeah.
We would tell him we loved him. And he would tell us he was not worthy of being loved.
Wow.
He several times said he just wanted to end it all.
That is really
And
hard.
he showed up at 8 o'clock this morning to help set up today.
Wow.
He now comes inside willingly. He is the first one to offer a hug, the first one to say, I love you. He is no longer homeless. He is now home blessed. And he is just, we're not supposed to have favorites, but yes. He has a huge piece of my heart. He honestly does.
Yeah, and I think that's the special thing, and with getting involved with our guests and getting to know them, and as they get to know us, just how amazing some of these our guests
Yes.
are. I mean, they really are. They have
Oh, yes.
wonderful hearts and spirits, and once they know that they can trust us, they're more than willing to get involved and help out. I think you said this morning when it was time to set up tables, we had
10 guys showed up this morning to help us
10
set
guests
up.
showed up alone just to
Yeah.
come and to help set up tables and to help
Yeah,
get
it
prepared.
was
because,
wonderful.
Yeah, you know, the Hope Center's a whole all volunteer staff, so
Yes.
when we do get help, it's it's really appreciated, and especially coming from our guests. But what other you've been involved since I started being involved at the Hope Center about 3.5 years ago or so, and you were involved back then, but
Yes.
you've seen it grow. So talk about some of the growth that you've seen and what changes have been happening.
We have, it's been phenomenal. It really has. We have, since we started, we have been able to help our guests obtain things like birth certificates. Doesn't sound like much, except if you're homeless and you don't have ID
Right.
and you don't have income, you cannot get a birth certificate without $20 and a driver's license.
Wow.
You can't get your driver's license without a birth certificate. It's a catch-22 for them. So we partnered with the county on that, and we are able to get a certified birth certificate for our guests free of charge.
Wow. That's great.
So that is a huge thing. Since we started that probably about 3 years ago, I want to say. We have to date obtained 36 birth certificates.
Wow. That's amazing. And that is life-changing.
Absolutely.
Truly in itself. I mean, if you have no form of identification, how do you apply for a job? How do you apply to get rent
You can't
assistance
get
or
benefits. You
an
can't get
apartment
anything
benefits?
without ID.
So, I know that we've become a certified mailing center too, so
Yes.
that people can get their address, because you can't get a driver's license without an address. You can't get a birth certificate without an address, and these little steps that we've made over these years, has all added up to become, we're trying to become a more full service place where people can come and not just get that hot meal. We want to see them be able to take steps and eventually be able to move on in their lives and become productive. So that's some of the goal. Denise, I know from the very beginning in N25 and Code Blue, you had a big part in how that all came about and how that was set up. Tell us a little bit about what happened with M25 and how Code Blue came to be in the Hope Center.
Right. Even though we're celebrating 4 years as the Hope Center per se, the Hope Center's been being used for Code Blue for 9
Yes.
or 10 years.
Wow.
And I started as a Code Blue volunteer. I just knew that I was retiring and I wanted something meaningful to do. And so I got involved with Code Blue. And Code Blue is still near and dear to my heart. I still volunteer for Code Blue. And Code Blue, for those of you that don't know, is when it's a warming center, and when it's very cold, 32 degrees or below, we have the homeless come in and we provide a hot meal, overnight shelter, and so that they're protected from the weather. So that I started doing in, I think, 2016. Then I became a board member for M25. And M25 was the county organization, volunteer organization, that started Code Blue in Cumberland County and started the shower program and the feeding programs. And we implemented Code Blue for a while, and then we went to just funding Code Blue for the Tri-City area. We just wrapped up last year M25, which comes from Matthew 25, which is the church's mandate to feed the hungry and clothe and visit the sick. And so we wrapped up after 10 years, and we started the programs in both in Vineland, Millville, and Bridgeton, and now those programs are self-sufficient. They do their own fundraising. They implement the programs. So we feel that we have achieved our mission. And but I'm still at the Hope Center. I'm still volunteering.
Yeah.
I know with Code Blue, it's an important part of what the Hope Center does do, and we can sleep about 25 guests overnight at the Hope Center, and then when they wake up in the morning, they're provided a hot meal and able to get taken care of, and before they have to go out and face the elements again in the wintertime.
Right.
And then in the summertime, we also do Code Red, which
Code Red is when the temperatures or heat index are extreme, 90 and above. We will open up the cooling center.
Okay.
And it's open to the entire community, anybody who needs relief from the heat.
Right.
So we just stay open until 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let them hang out, provide cold drinks, put a movie on.
Nice,
So,
comfortable place. Safe,
very
again,
comfortable, safe.
a safe and loving place to be.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the most important things. One of the guests in the beginning, when I first started out, it took a while to earn that trust with our guest, but he was the biggest thing that stuck with me was he was so happy that somebody knew his name. His name was Aaron, and he was just happy that somebody knew him and cared for him. And you think that the people that are on the street and they're living on the street, we walk, generally the public seems to just walk right by, and they go unnoticed, and I think that they start to feel just that they don't have an identity. And it's important that we embrace them and help them come along. If not, the problem's not going to change. The issue's not going to change. So, Brian, you new to the table. I know you're from Millville, not from Millville, but you've worked in Millville for a number of years. You were the principal at Rick Avenue for a number of years, and now you are the lead pastor at First United Methodist Church.
And those two stories get very connected very quickly. As being principal in this city for the 15 years I was principal, I got to see up close and personal what some of my family's lives were like from my school, and how challenging and difficult it was, not just for people that didn't have a job at the time, but even for people that were working, just how challenging life could really be, and how hard it was to make ends meet, and that really broke my heart to see. So me coming to First Church, the Hope Center plays a big role in that. I was Pastor Tom, my predecessor, asked me to be on the board for the Hope Center while I was still principal. So I got to learn about and have some input into the ministry at the Hope Center. And then when I retired, I became a volunteer, and I volunteered 2 to 3 days a week. And then just about a year ago now, I found out that I would be the pastor here.
That's right.
But the Hope Center played directly into that, because every time I talked about my call to ministry, it was working with the poor and underprivileged, and especially at the Hope Center. That played into every conversation I had. And so, I'm really blessed to be there. One of the jobs I got to have as volunteer, besides dishwashing every day and peeling sweet potatoes.
Oh, absolutely.
Fred Setzer, another retired
Yep,
administrator
absolutely.
from Millville, and I became really good sweet potato peelers. But we also we now have showers and laundry that opened about a year and a half ago now. And what a blessing when people who don't have access to showers and laundry, when they can come in now and get cleaned up and shave for the guys if they need to, and they can do laundry. That was a real blessing. But it also allowed me, since I was the one in charge of that for a while, to get to know some of our guests. Because while your laundry's running,
you got time
all
to
you
talk.
got to do is talk.
Absolutely.
And anybody who knows me knows I'm happy to talk.
Yes, you are, and that's a good thing.
But I got to know some of the guests and hear their stories, and learn about what interesting lives they've lived, whether they are from Millville originally or came here as a teenager or maybe a little later in life. Everybody has a story.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was just wonderful to get to see that in action, and to see the appreciation for what the volunteer staff at the Hope Center is trying to do. It's a real blessing to be able to serve the community like this, and it's a real privilege to be able to do this.
It certainly is. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about some of the new initiatives that we're looking into starting, and go from there. Thank you.
In Cumberland County, let's recycle right. We recycle cardboard, paper, aluminum, tin, and plastics number 1 and 2. Look for the 3-arrow triangle usually on the bottom of the plastic container. The number in the center determines the plastic number. Remember to recycle only number 1 and 2 plastics. Plastic bags, plastic film, hoses, and wires are not recyclable. They can damage sorting equipment and create hazardous working conditions. Don't trash our future. Do the right thing. Remember, reduce, reuse, and recycle.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Hey, check this out. Hernia repair. Ain't nothing, man. Kidney surgery. That's nothing. Gallbladder removal.
That's nothing. Spinal repair. I don't see nothing.
Exactly.
Minimally invasive robotic surgery at Inspira Health. Scar so small, it's almost like nothing ever happened.
Well, welcome back to Around South Jersey, and I'm here trying to fill Jim Quinn's shoes. My name is Andy Reif, and we're celebrating the Hope Center in Millville's 4th anniversary today. And for you, if you're just joining or if you don't know, the Hope Center, we feed about 100 to 125 people a day, 7 days a week. We have all kinds of different services, and that's what we're discussing today. And the celebration of what took place to bring us together as the Hope Center, and also what we need to do to continue to grow. So Denise is involved in one of the newer projects that we have at the Hope Center right now, the clothing closet. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have a clothing closet. We call it the Hope Chest because
very good.
We wanted a nicer name. And but basically we are a clothing closet. We accept donations from the community, so if you have some donations you'd like to share with us, we'll share our address later. And the community has been very generous in the donations. We've gotten like really nice clothing, articles of clothing, shoes, and we're always in need of shoes and sneakers, men's and women, not children at this time, but men's and women's, and accessories, belts, purses. So we take the items, we sort them, we have a beautiful setup where we have several different rooms that we can accommodate the clothing and the shoes. We have racks. It looks like a department store almost.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. And so the nice thing is when our guests come in, some of them are homeless and some of them are just people in need in the community. And everyone who comes in is free to shop. We do a little intake, just get their sizes and what things they're looking for, and the volunteers help them shop. They can pick a limited number of items at each visit, and then they come and check out like they're in the store. We give them a nice bag, and they're on their way. But our volunteers are so wonderful because it takes a lot of time and effort to do the sorting and the sizing and to put it all out there. But we're really thrilled with it because it's a great service to the community. Around Easter time, we had some women come in and they wanted to go to church, but they didn't have any church clothing. So we outfitted them with a whole complete outfit with purses, shoes, everything, all the accessories. And just for day-to-day clothing, people need it. Particularly if you're homeless, it can be problematic when it rains. Sometimes your things get ruined.
Yes, that's right.
And we do have the laundry services like we talked about, which is helpful, but sometimes you just have to start from scratch. So we are very grateful that we have the opportunity to provide the service and that the community has been so very generous in their contributions. And probably most of us have things that we just can't use anymore. And so if you're a community member and you would like to donate to us, we'd be very happy to accept your donations. And for people who are in need and would like to shop with us, we are open on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10:30 to 12. And so you're free to shop during those hours, and our volunteers are very happy to help you find what you need.
Yeah, it's a great ministry. I was in there today, and the look on people's face when they can go in and actually find their size and everything is laid out. I mean, there's even a dressing room if they want to get changed and be able to check out. They're able to get the clothes and things they need, and this is all for trying to get people to move forward and be able to help them on their journey from homelessness to home blessed is our ultimate goal for each of our guests, whenever it's possible. So, Brian, the churches merged several years ago, and we got the Trinity Church. Yeah. And now we have this wonderful space, and we have the Hope Center, and we're looking to grow. What are some of the visions that the board members from the church and from the Hope Center kind of see happening in the hopefully not too distant future?
Sure. So we actually just talked about vision over these past couple of months.
Yes.
In a couple of meetings just for that. And one of the things we quickly realized is that we are planning for a future we don't know yet. 4 years ago when we started, if we had 20 people, for instance, for lunch, we were going, oh my gosh, where did all those people come from today? Today, we are now feeding at least 80 people a day, more normally 100, and we've been hitting 125 lately. And so we never would have predicted that 4 years ago like that. But so as we're looking to the future now, we are starting to look at, first of all, how can we accommodate more people for the feeding program that we have, for the lunch program that we have, in a way that's still comfortable for everybody, because it is truly the socializing that is so important as part of our lunchtime. But we're also looking at Code Blue, which has become a very important ministry and service to the city. What's it look like for us to have more beds than just 25?
Right.
What's it look like on those nights when it's 0 degrees and we don't have to turn anybody away?
Right.
That's our hope and our vision. And so we're trying to dream now about what spaces might look like, what partnerships might look like for that. I mentioned the fact that we do showers and laundry, but that's only the beginning of the hygiene story. There's so much more with that. I mean, we do provide hygiene packs for people, but we're also wondering, are there other ways that we can help folks with hygiene? Because that's so important to being healthy. It's no secret that in the city of Millville, there are some issues for many people around mental health.
Yes, there is.
And it's also not a secret that in our part of the state, finding mental health services is a real challenge.
Right.
So at the Hope Center, we are dreaming and planning on how we can expand our counseling services with community partners, and we're blessed to have the ones we have.
Yes, we are.
But we also are looking at, can we bring in some in-house counseling for those folks that need it, either on a voluntary basis or perhaps on a contracted basis. And so, one of my messages is to anybody that's in the counseling profession, If you would be interested in helping us out, please contact the Hope Center. We will give you the phone number and contact information in just a little while, but that's a big way that we are hoping to expand our services there. And then continuing to do things like on-the-job training or job training for people to be able to get out there. We are looking at how can we expand our help with paperwork. Donna mentioned already birth certificates, driver's licenses, but there's other things that people need. And
Yes.
so we're looking at how can we expand those, and we're really dreaming big. We're not dreaming small. We're really dreaming big because we believe not only is the need great, that right here in our own city, we have the resources to solve so much of the problem that especially our homeless population deals with.
Yeah, and the need is great. I mean, we all know that the need is great. And it's no surprise that Cumberland County is one of the poorest counties, if not the poorest county in the entire state. And this isn't a problem that's just going to go away overnight. And our volunteers at the Hope Center really are doing everything in their power to try to get people to move forward. As I've said, we have a big poster right inside in the door when you go in, and you step in, and the step in period is where we want to just get a minute to get to know you, what your needs are, what can we do to help you, and then we transition into the step up. And that's where we can start getting you some paperwork that you may need if you need a birth certificate or a driver's license, but also we're expecting our guests to give back a little bit if the trash needs to go out, or like the guest that showed up this morning that wanted to help set up for the party that we had today. And then the next step is to be able to find a job and to be able to start becoming financial literate, like Denise and I were talking about the other day, and then to step out. And unfortunately, on our poster now, we have about 15 signatures of guests that have all, since we've started, have completed all those steps and have a home and have a job and are doing really, really well on their own. And the blessing for us as volunteers, they come back and they volunteer and they give us hugs and they tell us that we care, that they care. And it just makes us feel good, and it gives us the encouragement to keep the fight and to want to continue.
Absolutely.
It's so important, Don. I'm sure that, there's other stories that,
Oh, yes.
yeah, of people that,
There's 1,000 stories. I will tell you about, this is a more recent one, actually. We have a husband and wife that were homeless. They no longer are. They are now home blessed. They were at the homeless shelter. They had exceeded their time there. It was getting to be winter. They had nowhere to go. They called 211, which is the state hotline number for homeless services. And 211 told them, when found out they were in Millville, told them about the Hope Center. So they showed up at the Hope Center. Had no idea we were here. They like to say we're the best kept secret in Millville. But at least 125 people a day know where we're at.
Yeah.
Yes. They came for Code Blue. They're so appreciative of everything. Right. So appreciative. Well, they were waiting for Social Security to kick in. It finally kicked in. They are actually right now in a rooming house. They are moving to an apartment at the end of May. And not only are they doing that, we've hired them as our custodians at the Hope Center.
Wow, that's awesome.
So they went from not knowing we were there to having employment there.
And the impact that has on a person's life. I mean, if we think about that for a minute, listen, we all are a little step away from this could happen to any of us. It really could happen to anybody. And it happens. And it happened to this couple that you're talking about. I'm familiar with them. And I can't imagine the desperation and that feeling of lost and hopelessness. I mean, the three of the saddest words in the Bible to me are, we had hoped, because everything's gone at that point. But our staff and our beliefs and wanting to serve Jesus offers hope back. Yes. And that's our goal. And it's changing lives. So, to go from that just so desperate part of your life to having that place to come and be able to get the help that you need to be able to move forward in life, not just to maintain, but to be able to move forward. So more on this when we come back in a couple minutes, and we look forward to hope you stay with us. Thank you.
Life on Earth offers some challenges. Things are constantly changing. Seems like we're fighting battles all the time. But you're a warrior for God, and He's given you the armor of God. Join Pastor Myers for this exciting series on how to be equipped to win. It begins May 5th at 11 a.m.
New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
Imagine living without pain. For over 35 years, Doctors Beebe and Doyle have helped thousands of people find relief from all types of pain. Millville Chiropractic Center has 4 doctors on staff specializing in hands-on or light-touch, drug-free pain relief methods. The examination, x-rays, therapies, and adjustments are all performed at one location. Schedule a consultation today. Enjoy life without pain and discomfort. Millville Chiropractic Center, the area's #1 pain relief center.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
So welcome back to Around South Jersey. My name is Andy Reif, and we're here just talking about the Hope Center today and about what it means to our guests. But, you know, the other thing that I really would like to touch on is some of the other things that happen at the building that we call the Hope Center. We offer 3 AA meetings a week, and there's an underground church. We call it the Underground Church that Jack Fossbender started. Brian, I'd like you to just touch on that for a couple minutes, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. So the Underground Church is an extension ministry of First Church, and it is a church for 18 to 30-year-olds. They meet on Thursday nights, beginning at 7, and it's different than other worship experiences. I saw somebody put it this way: imagine having church in your 1970s rec room.
Yes.
And that's kind of what it's like downstairs. They did get some furniture, so we might be in the 1990s rec room now instead. But it is totally young people driven. These are folks who are in college and early careers, and some are still trying to find employment. But it's totally driven by the young adults that are going there. I get to go as pastor at the church. I get to go every once in a while and check out and see what's happening. And I always have a great time. It's always a good message. Lots of music. We've got air hockey tables and ping pong tables and just all kinds of great things going on. And so that happens literally in the basement, and that's why we call it the Underground Church.
Right, and it really is a great ministry, and that's another ministry that's grown. I mean, that was Pastor Fossbender,
Pastor Jack's
baby in the beginning, and he had the vision to start that church, and it started small. I mean, 10 young adults that would go there, and now we're at 40, 50.
I was going to say, we've been having 40 to 45 pretty regularly.
Every Thursday night, and it's a really comfortable place for young adults to go that may not feel comfortable going to an established big church.
Yes.
And they have their own music and they do their own program.
And they're a really friendly group of people too. So if somebody comes in that's new and is a little unsure about what they're getting into, they are really good about making friends well,
right?
And
that is true.
Without pressure, but just really being friendly.
Yeah, Dolly and Andrew are heavily involved in that, and usually give the message, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they now switch up who's giving the message a little more too,
right.
and which is also wonderful to see. And again, I've gotten to hear several of our underground church folks preach, and I've never heard a bad message, not a one.
That's
yet.
awesome. So if you're a young adult out there and you are interested in going to church, but maybe don't want to get dressed up, or don't feel like going to a big church with a big fancy organ, and we understand. We do get that. It's okay. Come Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Come in your shorts and your T-shirt during the summer, and come worship with our young adults that are there. And I promise you that you'll have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and other things that we have going on at the Hope Center. The AA meetings are another part, but
Right.
that's the other things that we need to look for as we grow, are other uses for our buildings. We're blessed to have two buildings, the church and this beautiful hall with everything that we need. But what are we looking for as more ideas that we can use our space for? Besides Code Blue, and Denise and I talked the other day about financial literacy.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some of our guests, they've never been in a home, and they may not know how to manage a checkbook or manage your finances. Denise, and I think you said that you were a teacher for this.
Well, Donna and I are both literacy volunteer trained,
Okay.
so we can teach literacy skills to adults, and many of our guests are do have trouble with reading and
Yeah.
struggle with reading, and if you can't read, then it affects everything else in your life. So we're both trained as literacy volunteers, so we can. I'm afraid I can't help too much with money.
It is unfortunate. It's another part of the problem. One of our guests that I got to know really well, he was working, and he was actually able to afford to get home, but he didn't have a clue on how to write a check, or how to even read to write the check. So, and he's an older gentleman that was embarrassed about that. He confided in me in that, but these are steps that are really important if we can just continue our mission and our ministry to make these changes in people's lives. So let's talk a little bit about us now. Each of us has a story. We all have come to the table, so to speak, at the Hope Center. And all of our volunteers are. And I know there's a picture of our volunteers, if they could show it, from today. But we all have a story, and we all came in some fashion. For me, it was I asked Pastor Jack if he needed help with anything, and the next thing I know, I got handed a big key ring and was told, go help out at the Hope Center and see where it takes you. Well, I had no idea. To be perfectly honest with you, I had no idea what I was getting into, and I stood kind of in the corner for a period of time. It took time for me to be comfortable with the guest, but more importantly, it took time for the guest to understand that they could trust me.
Yes.
That I was not there to exploit them or to do anything to harm them, and that I just wanted to care. And it has changed my life dramatically in that 4 years. I went from, attending church to leading a church, in that 4 years, and a lot of that is attributed to my experiences at the Hope Center and where I felt led by God to do different things. So, Donna, you've been doing this for a long time, and
I have. I was doing Code Blue, a volunteer at Code Blue before anything started down there. And I started in Code Blue because I had recently retired, and there's this notion going around that I can't sit still.
No, that's very
where
true.
they get that idea.
Not just a notion.
There was no way. Retirement was not agreeing with me. I had to do something. And I had to do something that I felt was worthy of doing.
right.
So I found out about Code Blue, and I started volunteering at Code Blue, and then the pandemic hit, and Karen Share got started, and it's, kind of crawled my way into there. And it's just gone from there. It's an amazing thing. It's exhausting, yes. There are times it's frustrating, yes.
Yes.
But it's also the most fulfilling thing. The other day, I had one of the guests tell me, he said, I really appreciate you. And another guest looked at him and said, you just appreciate her. He said, I love her. And I was like, that to me is so cool. Like you said, trust is the biggest thing. It takes a long time to earn it. Yeah. And once we do earn it, it's It's incredible. It really is. You know, we say we're not volunteers and guests anymore. We're family.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we are in there. We are family.
And Donna has grown so much in her role at the Hope Center. I mean, in just the last few years, from helping out to basically running the day-to-day operations at the Hope Center and making sure that the meals are cooked, and also SOAR certified. To Donna takes care of getting most of the Social Security cards, driver's licenses, and all of those important steps that are going along. But this team of volunteers that have come together,
Incredible team of volunteers.
and it's not only the team, it's the fun that the volunteers seem to have when they're together. You know, it's a great time. There's generally a radio playing somewhere, and it's busy because, I mean, you're cooking for 100 people a day, but the camaraderie that comes out of that, and knowing that you're doing good things. So, Denise, how's it touched you and your journey throughout this process?
Well, when I first started as Code Blue volunteer like Donna did, we volunteered together in the early days, and I wasn't sure what to expect. My introduction to the homeless was to sit down and have coffee with them, and just to generally help out whatever was needed. But as I began talking with the volunteers, and like someone said, their backstories, and you learn, I mean, they didn't start out homeless, they became homeless through, it's a spiral down effect. Like one thing happens and you lose your license, and then you lose your job, and then you lose your home, and then you can't get out of it. And when they tell you those stories, and then you find ways that, you know, we have connections, we have ways that we can help them turn it around and get back up. And we have seen miraculous turnaround. But for me, how does it make me feel? I have a blast, because honestly, it's not like, you know, we're so dedicated. We are dedicated, but we have fun.
Oh, it's fun.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's a burden. It's not like, oh, I have to go in and do Code Blue again. I look forward to it. I mean, we have Super Bowl parties, and that's where I spend my Super Bowl. You know, I used to spend it with my family. Now I spend.
No, you spend it with your other family.
So actually enjoy going in. It's always fun. Yeah, there's frustrating times. Everybody has them, but by and large, it is it's a fun experience. But it's very touching at the same time. Like one of the stories I think of, and we have many stories, but one of our most down and out guests that I ever knew, he was. It was hard for him to come in for a meal because he couldn't be around a lot of people. But we always made sure he had something to eat and shelter. But I would often see him outside of the hours, like sitting on a curb, just with his head in his hands. And finally, he hit bottom. We were able to arrange for him to get addiction services. He went through the program. It doesn't always happen on the first time around, but for him it did. He got the help he needed. He got mental health help. He began to turn his life around, and we started seeing it. And little by little, he got to the point where he was able to hold a job. And through M25 Housing First, we were able to help them with the first month's rent and security deposit. They were able to get an apartment, and we supplied them with furniture and necessities they needed to get set up. We had big moving in ceremony with a cake and balloons and everything, and it was a great time. It was a great success because I had seen this man struggle for years and years, and now I see him. He's working at a nice job in ShopRite, so he's working. He's in housing. He beat his addiction, and you know, whenever he sees us again, you know, they're very appreciative. But those are the kinds of things that, as a guest, we see some sad stories. We see people that don't make it, and that's inevitable, and we accept that's part of what we do. But it's very sad. But we have so many success stories that keeps us going and keeps us inspired. And anybody thinking of volunteering, it may not be something that ever occurred to you before, but it's an amazing thing to do.
Absolutely.
It really is amazing. If you think about it, there's so many different ways to help when you're there. If you're there, we serve lunch from 11:30 to 1 o'clock, 6 days a week, and then on Sundays it's a little bit later. But you can help in the kitchen. But some of the most needed type of volunteers are just people that want to come in and maybe grab a meal and sit down at a table with a guest that needs help, or just is lonely, that wants somebody to talk to and share stories with. And I think that becomes a big part of what we are and why it's so meaningful to us as volunteers and so meaningful to the people. First Church is a big part of what the Hope Center is, but on the flip side of that, you don't have to be a member of First Church to volunteer. In fact, we have people from a lot of different churches that volunteer, and a lot of different churches provide meals on Sundays and throughout the week. I mean, Fourth United Methodist is involved. I mean, it seems like all the churches have a vested interest in what we want to do. We all have the same goal, is to serve God and to serve His people, and to try to make it happen. So, to some of the other organizations, Brian, speak to them a little bit. What could we, what could they look for in trying to help? What, as far as other faith-based organizations here?
Sure. So while the Hope Center is an extension ministry of First Church, there are a lot of churches involved. We've gotten equipment from New Hope UMC, and we're talking a lot about United Methodist churches. It sounds like, but really we've got folks from all denominations and no denominations that are helping us. The Church of the Nazarene has been a big supporter of ours through the years. And we've got some folks who are helping out from churches, down closer to Morristown and Dorchester, and so there are a lot of churches that help already, but we're always looking for more community partners, and especially inside the faith community. One of the things we're experiencing in Millville right now is the breaking down of so many of those denominational walls as the churches are starting to come together, and this is a great opportunity for us, not as Methodists or whatever denomination, but for us as followers of Jesus Christ to be able to step out and show people the love of Christ through our own hands and feet. And so whatever church you belong to, please contact us at the Hope Center, and we would love to talk about how to partner with you in helping out the Hope Center in all of its ways. But Andy, it's not just churches. We are blessed with all kinds of folks coming out of the woodwork. Personally, we get meals dropped off or food dropped off very regularly. We have some of the businesses in town will pleasantly surprise us.
That's right.
And have cooked part of a meal or all of a meal. I'd be amiss if I didn't mention our good friends at the Texas Roadhouse right here in town, who every week provide meals for us. And I don't know how many people know that they do that kind of volunteer work in the community, but it's businesses like that we should be supporting, that support the community like that. We've got small businesses in town that help out. We have some suppliers right now here in South Jersey, where we are actually able to save so much money on what would normally be food purchases because of their donations to the Hope Center. One of the exciting things along those lines that I'm excited about is we were able to purchase a walk-in freezer through donations and grants. Anybody and this is a big one. This is not just a small, this is like full room size one. But that's enabled us, again, to be able to accept food donations and not have to use them immediately, and we can plan our meals better that way. We have had help on Sundays. So Sunday afternoons is the one day our volunteer corps gets a break. And so we have families, churches, other groups that come in on Sunday afternoons and prepare the Sunday afternoon meal for everybody. And that's another way of volunteering for people, is to come in and provide those. And so while it is an extension of First Methodist, it is not only our ministry. It is truly the community's ministry, and it's exciting to be able to share the love of Jesus in our actions. And as well, of course, we provide a Bible study there and all that kind of stuff, and certainly prayer. But it's exciting when folks like that are helping. And if I could just continue for a moment, us pastors, we don't shut down easily once we get going. I don't have 3 points, but I'll go to my next one. We are also in need always of financial assistance and perhaps grants, perhaps just outright love gifts. And if folks would like to do that, there's a couple of ways that can happen. One is writing a check to Trinity First Hope Center. That's all it needs to say, Trinity First Hope Center. With whatever the donation is, you can drop that off at the Hope Center, bring it to First Church. In either case, we'll make sure it gets to where it needs to go. We're also looking for corporate partners now.
Yes,
and we're
absolutely.
looking for businesses to help invest in the community through the Hope Center, both in financial as well as in service for the Hope Center. Again, all in the hopes of trying to make people's lives better and helping them not just step in, not just step up, but be able to step out.
Step out.
And Millville, in all of my years of being here, is such a caring community, and I've seen the business community in this city come together in incredible ways. And I think this is another opportunity for our corporate partners here in the city and around the area to come together to help a community and help the folks in this community. And I'm excited about those opportunities and would look forward to speaking with people. I've mentioned contacting us a couple of times, so let me just give you a few ways that you can do that. One, of course, is by good old telephone, and that's 856-506-5371. And for those who didn't grab your piece of paper the first time, you can do it again, 856-506-5371. We do have a Facebook page. Trinity First Hope Center is the Facebook page. We also, of course, have email, and that's at Trinity First, that's one with an ST, Trinity First Hope Center at Gmail. And so those are all ways you can contact us. And if those don't work for you, look up First United Methodist Church online and give us a call in the church office, and we'll be able to help you out with all of that too. And I really appreciate all of the help.
Yeah. No, we certainly do appreciate the help. And of course, the other way that you could help is just stop in. We're there Monday through Saturday from 11:30 to 1. Like I said, we're there. Donna's there earlier every day. Ask for Donna, and she'll point you in the right direction. So let's take one final break, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up. Thank you.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to there is really a God. We try to find him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find him. That's by personal experience with him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
In Cumberland County, let's recycle right. We recycle cardboard, paper, aluminum, tin, and plastics number 1 and 2. Look for the 3-arrow triangle usually on the bottom of the plastic container. The number in the center determines the plastic number. Remember to recycle only number 1 and 2 plastics. Plastic bags, plastic film, hoses, and wires are not recyclable. They can damage sorting equipment and create hazardous working conditions. Don't trash our future. Do the right thing. Remember, reduce, reuse, and recycle.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey again. My name's Andy Reif, and we're here with volunteers from the Hope Center, and we just wanted to close with one more positive story that has really impacted my life, and I think everybody that hears the story will get something from this. And we had a young man come in about 2 years ago now. He's a 22-year-old young man, and he came into the Hope Center, and he kind of stumbled in. We didn't really know who he was. He had been there once or twice, and he was just so broken. You could physically see the brokennesses. And Donna found him and started talking with him, and the young man was just crying, and he was at the end. We was discussing suicide with Donna, and Donna called me, and I went over. I was home at the time, and I went over and we prayed together, and we were talking to him some, and he just was, the desperation was so clear in his eyes, and he just said, "I am just so hopeless." And Donna looks at him right in the eyes, just stares him right in the eyes and says, "You're in the wrong place." And I looked at her, and I was like, I was taken aback for a moment. and she's just deadpan says, "This is the Hope Center. This isn't the Hopeless Center." The wonderful part about that story is 2 weeks later, that young man came back to the back door of the Hope Center, asked for Donna. Donna?
Yes.
And what happened next?
He asked for me. He had the biggest smile in the world on his face. And I told him he had to wait for a meal because I needed a hug. And I got the hug, and he said, "Thank you." He said, "I came back to tell you I have a job. I'm getting a place to live." And he said, "You never gave up on me, and you wouldn't let me give up on myself." And absolutely not. That's our goal.
That is the goal.
We're going to do everything we can so that they don't give up on themselves, so that they don't have that feeling of life being hopeless.
Yeah.
Because I told them the truth.
That's true.
We're not the Hopeless Center.
That's right. We are the Hope Center.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Pastor Brian, Denise, Donna. It was really a pleasure to spend some time with you folks and with you folks at home. And I just, again, want to thank Jim and for the opportunity to be here and to sit in his seat that he fills so wonderfully every time he does the show. And I really appreciate the time and the effort of his staff. And we hope to see you at the Hope Center sometime soon. Thank you.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.